Hello everyone and welcome to the Cone Racing League. You might have just turned up for the 20-second stream that was quickly ended and then started again with a slightly different title. But at Singapore today, and Q1 is just getting underway. A few reserves today. I know that... Who is it? I have no idea how you say his name. The Williams in 15th. He is reserving for Captain Nick, who forgot to update his game. So it looks like the Ferrari of Rizzifi going out first. So yeah, Captain Nick didn't update his game, and as a result, the reserve has had to step in last second. Actually, the two Haas seats have now been filled. Apollo and Carl, we both seem to have reserved plenty in the past. Now both the full-time seats joining Haas at the same time. So it'll be interesting to see how they manage to do. Yeah, just three drivers out on track for the moment. Rizzifi, Jay Wills, and I suspect the other one is 4-star. No, it's rotation, the other Red Bull. Now reading the chat, doesn't show the weather report to any spectators, but it sounds like there is going to be plenty of rain during the race, so that'll throw a spanner in the works. Quite possibly a high chance of safety cars if that's the case. But certainly drivers have to be more cautious. It is looking like at the end of the race it's going to be dry. So we'll see how it goes. Of course, the championship battle now much closer. KXI, 4-star, Steiny and Duru are the four to watch out for. So that's Williams, Red Bull, AlphaTauri and Mercedes. One from each team. So no two teammates to work together, end up fighting with team orders as Rizzifi there just going over the white line and already invalidating this lap after just the first couple of corners. Oh, and has Jay Wills crashed out? Or is that that may be a qualifying ban? Cause I do remember seeing some drivers had one. They had to serve. Okay, let's find some drivers on the lap. Carl then, just starting his lap. His first time, certainly in the full-time seat as Haas. We're looking to make a good impression. How about that? Just have his teammate ahead of him. Apollo just on an out lap though. Actually giving a little bit of slipstream though. Although I just want to stay in front of him for too long in case he gets some dirty air passed on. No drivers yet to set a lap, I think. Is that a crashed Red Bull? That's the other one, isn't it? Did he go into the wall or not? I couldn't tell. Possibly. Now back on board with Kyle, who set the purple middle sector. No one yet to set a lap. Cars ahead of him. No, I think he'll be the first man to set a lap, assuming he keeps it valid. Car ahead of him on track, I believe to be Rizzifi. We start another lap now, this time hoping to keep it within the white lines. It sounds like Jay Wills does have a qualifying ban and actually wants to join in the commentary box. So Carl coming to the fastest lap, Raw in second. Give me a quick sec to set up Jay Wilson to the party, which does mean the screen will be lost temporarily, and we'll get back to qualifying. Right, okay, so sorry about that brief interruption. Jay Will should be able to join us shortly. No one's actually yet set a lap. 4-start just starting one. Singapore, plenty of places to invalidate. Trying to find KXI said in the fastest time. Actually, Rizifi also said in a time I had missed. KXI currently with fastest. Ah, hello, hello. Are you there? Cannot hear you if you're talking. Ah, yeah, there you go.
So I was on mute. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect. Hello.
Yeah.
One of the funnier positions I've probably been in the qualifying session, but here we are.
Yeah, always good to have someone alongside me for this.
Yeah, I mean I have to go for the race, but because you know, actually racing, but. Thought I'd pop in, say hello.
Yeah. So you've seen the weather report actually, haven't you? From what they're saying, it's going to be a very rainy race near the start.
No, 15 to 20 minutes in is when the rain's forecasted to get involved basically, and then from there it's like going to go dry, wet, dry again.
Huh, okay.
So you're going to have a lot of action, I feel.
I think Singapore, certainly plenty of broken front wings.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if there wasn't a safety car at some point.
Yeah. See, if most people, which I assume they would have done, have checked the weather report, we'll see, I think, nobody on softs in Q2. Which you shouldn't anyway, but especially now, there'll be no one on those softs in Q2.
So Steiny up to P2. It's what, 2.5 tenths back on KXI?
Yeah, 2.5 tenths, then Hobbs is another half a tenth back on him, the 700, sorry.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how, I think he says his name Damask does. Captain Nick's quite literally last minute replacement. After the man got to update his game.
I wonder who this is. Don't know anything about him, see how he does. Who else have we got who's a reserve?
I know the two Haas seats have actually just been filled with Apollo and Carl, so now they're full-time seats. Might see them picking up the pace, and they certainly don't seem to be too slow off their current
KXI's
times.
teammate, I think in the Williams is a reserve as well. Currently coming through sector 3, I believe he's a reserve as well.
Yeah, I'm on board with him. He's managed replacing Captain Nick. Well, no, reserving for Captain Nick.
Indeed. Who else have we got who's a reserve?
I think Martin in the Aston Martin.
Aston, yeah. That's quite a nice little partnership, isn't it?
Yeah.
Martin's the Aston Martin.
A 38.7 for Damask. Slowest time yet, but still plenty of time to improve. So we'll see how he does. Of course, he might not have got
hold softs as well.
Yeah, might not have got as much practice as the other drivers as well. Could have coming in very last second.
Let me get on board. I was going to try to look at his tyre temperatures to see if he'd actually cooled them off, but can't tell. So obviously around here, most people know that tyre temperatures do get very hot, and you can only really get 1, maybe 2 soft laps in of high performance, but in between those on the second run, you'd have to definitely cool the tyres down beforehand.
Yeah, although interesting, Jamie Robertson's quickest lap was set on 3 lap old softs. So it's possibly aborted the first 2 quite early on.
He did. I know he aborted his first one extremely early. Let's have a look. Yellow flags in start. Is that the start finish? It is Martin going slowly into the pit lane. Maybe run out of fuel. Who else I know that?
Claire PR, who I'm currently on board with.
Yes. Current through sector 3. This corner, final corner, vital to make sure the tire temperature don't get too hot here, especially. 36s? No, 37.4.
So you're going to want to try and find some more there. I'm not quite sure that'll be enough for him.
No, I think Jamie is probably where I'd say the cutoff is. Maybe I think low 37s might be the cutoff.
Yeah, it's going to be around there, isn't it?
Yeah. See, normally I'd say I'm around Q2, Q3 pace when I string a quality lap together. Jamie just improved to 36.8 on those 4 lap old now softs, and then goes extremely deep into turn 1 and turn 2. That's that run definitely done.
Ooh, rotation set in 35.9.
Ooh.
Actually, is he reserving?
Rotation.
Some of them reserve quite often and you just kind of don't realise. Yeah, he is a reserve.
In the Red Bull, he is replacing Dark.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
In the Red Bull for tonight. Goes fastest of all, as by, what, just under 5/10? I think that is.
So,
yep.
Marty, next man. 36.3. Hang on, the 2 Aston Martins are called Marty and Martin.
Oh, love it.
You would have thought they were planning this.
Almost. I bet you Nathan or AJ
Ooh.
definitely has. These pesky head admin.
Slow Warrior Huntsman there. DeRoy, currently only man not to set a lap, other than, of course, you.
I'll have you know that I did do my installation lap. Thank you. No, I'm joking. Made sure to stay out of everyone's way, you know. Good boy in that. Don't want another qualifying ban.
Trying to find someone who is on a lap. I'm not sure actually currently have anyone certainly pushing for time.
Yeah, his qualifying session's gone quite quickly, to be fair. It's only 5 minutes, just under 5 minutes left.
Yeah, DeRoy about to start a lap. We'll stay on board with him, the only man not yet to start a lap. And one of the more important drivers, currently P4 in the championship. So, most ground needed to gain out the title runners, but certainly in with a good chance of the top 3.
As a rotation retires, I believe that's in the pit lane. Obviously confident with his time, I mean, you can't blame him.
Yeah, no. I think anyone with certainly beneath 36.5, 100% safe.
Oh, definitely.
If that's a purple first sector for DeRoy.
It's lying to you because IFR rotation was a 26.5. So the game is lying to us again.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of used to that at this point.
I wonder if it's based off the cut-off into getting into Q2, possibly, is the purple.
Maybe. I mean, I always take the purple with a pinch of salt, because it's usually inaccurate, but...
Yeah,
but DeRoy is a quick driver, so kind of, when it's him, it's always believable. He's one of those
according to my game.
Yep, no, same here.
Yeah, as you were saying about that championship battle, KXI currently our championship leader on 270 points, 4-star on 236, 34 away, which is just under a race win's worth. So if you never know, 4-star, if he somehow managed to get a race win and
or P2 in the fastest lap, we'll get that.
That is true.
Which actually, given the weather conditions, is more possible to push for a fastest lap early on. As DeRoy is safe in 4th position.
However, it's going to dry up after the rain period, so possibly with a bit, obviously the track will be a bit green after the rain, but depends how quick the rain passes through, I feel, is how we'll really see it.
Toes improves up to 15th position, getting himself a bit safer.
Yeah, right up on the bubble, that isn't it? Really, P15.
Yeah, realistically needs to try and find more time for himself. Actually, 4-star current P2 in the championship, 17th in qualifying, so he needs to find some time.
I think 4-star, bless him, never been the quickest one-lap pace driver, but has always Mr. Consistent every race, I feel.
Yeah.
Always there or thereabouts where he needs to be. See what he does for Sector 1. Anything mid to low 26 is a good Sector 1. 26.8 is a 1.5 tenths improvement as it stands.
Yeah, I mean, if he can find half a second, that might be enough to keep him safe.
Yeah,
Want to try and find a little more?
I'd say Freefall's the last driver who I'd say is in trouble.
Yeah.
Possibly Carl, but I think sub 37.2 you should be okay, as we see Forster coming into this lovely bridge section.
Oh, actually,
difficult braking zone now.
Freefall about to improve. Oh no, had a bad last sector, not able to improve.
The Flying Scotsman will not be happy with that. Here we go, 4-star, 2 3/4 tenth improvement. So, doing enough to, as it stands, to get out of Q1, but only by a whisker.
DeRoy improving his lap up to 2nd position.
Yeah, again, you can probably get away with using the 2 sets of softs in this qualifying session, considering in the next session you only really want to do 1 run on the medium or 2 runs on the medium compound tyre. Softs are only really needed for Q3 when it is the shootout, you don't start on them. Obviously 4-star, go to P14, wouldn't say he's safe just yet.
No, the Tobes invalidated his one. His tyres now that bit older.
Yeah, and that bit hotter as well, depending on how late he invalidated. Hopefully he cooled those tyres right down before he starts again in his scarlet red Ferrari.
Although, thing to keep in mind, Raw down in 17th, he is a fast qualifier.
Very fast. On an outlap as it stands. Will he get round? He will get round. I think
yeah,
he'll be
nearly there
the last
anyway.
driver to start a lap, maybe.
I think, yeah, I think his teammate will be able to get to the line. I'm not sure about that.
But he's currently on a lap 2 tenths improvement, I think I saw, as I clicked on his name. As he comes up to the final corner.
And if we can get that 2.5 tenths, then that should be enough to keep him happily safe. Yep, there we go, nearly half a second up to 11th.
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely safe. Free fall. Oh, he's not going to make the line, I don't think. He's not.
Mask up ahead is... He does improve his lap.
Make the line. So Scott, the man I'd say to beat, 37.358. 4-star, not sure. Martins crosses a line. Doesn't improve. He's on the bubble. Tobes is improving. Raw 222 Ding improving. Warrior Huntsman's invalidated. That's his qualifying over. Diminska on a lap.
I think he's out of fuel. Yeah, he's got to be out of fuel.
He's done. That's his qualifying done.
Tobes nearly 3 tenths green though, and that'll be enough to push him safe ahead of Martin.
Over the line. He is safe.
Which means 4-star is at the mercy of Raw, who's currently actually only nearly 2 tenths green. How much does he need to find?
Just over 2 tenths.
Yeah.
Very close. Scott will be safe, Mr. Freefall. Oh!
He's clipped the ball. That actually still got his front wing. Although it goes wide.
Oh, that's going to be an invalid. Oh,
what?
Not enough. Not enough. How that wasn't an invalidation, I think. Kept it very close.
Yeah, so I was thinking. Bumped the wall, went over the line twice, and lap still counted, but yeah, just 16th for him.
Not enough. Not enough. But, I mean, if we look at the bottom of the standings, what a handsome man in P20. What can we say? What astonishing lap from that Mercedes driver. But I just think, last time we saw a Mercedes driver start last, we saw him go and win the race from the end of that weekend, so...
I'm not a Hamilton fan, but that was impressive.
It was impressive. See, I think I'm known as the resident Hamilton fan, as well as Nathan, so...
No, I've had my fair share of Hamilton hate myself, but he fully deserves all the kind of...
praise he gets.
Yeah, for that one, certainly.
Yeah, indeed. But there's our... You could probably call it bottom 4, really. Is Raw 222 Ding, Martin's in his Aston Martin, Warrior Huntsman, and a Minskra. And 0 XP. Love that.
Yeah, on to Q2. I assume both other sessions are dry as well.
Yeah, dry qualifying.
But yeah,
very close.
The top 4 got a bit of a gap to the rest of the field, but from 5th through to 15th, we're only looking at about 7/10ths. So it's going to be a close one for Q2. It might force some drivers onto softs who don't want to be, if they want to get through to Q3.
Yeah, especially with the rain coming, I think some drivers might just take the pain of going out in Q2 to make sure they get those medium tyres.
Yeah, seen that happen before.
I definitely would. I think P11 is much better than being in the top 10 on a pair of softs, because you're going to have to pit in for either another pair of softs if you think they can last, or for a pair of mediums till the rain comes. So it's very tight. But we will indeed see.
Right, so 3 drivers currently shown to be on the mediums, although that number's bound to increase. Yeah, already up to 4.
Yeah, up to another one, I believe, 5 now.
Ferrari going out on the soft tyres, Reziffi. Can't see anyone else currently.
Reziffi's on mediums, I believe. He is on mediums on my screen, Reziffi.
Oh, is he?
He is.
I'm in his car, he's got softs on his...
That's weird. If I go on the race director, does it say anything different? It does say mediums.
IRT Reziffi?
Yep.
Hey, he's got red tyres for me, showing soft on the graphic as well.
Yeah, mine says... I swear this happened in the Tier 4 race, or qualifying the other day. This happened as well, where they had a tyre change up, and it's saying one driver was on a certain compound and they weren't. So interesting. I guess we'll be able to tell from his lap times.
Yeah, it should be a rough indication. But...
I think the delta's something like 1.6 seconds from soft to medium, so you're looking at anything over a 37 really is probably an indication he's on the mediums, or anything in the 37s probably. But Claire PR for me says he's on softs. Deluxey on softs.
Yep.
Me as well.
Deluxey softs. We've also got Apollo out on the mediums and DeVoy on the mediums.
See, DeRoy has mediums on for me, but he's got softs on the graphic. Codemasters. Can you explain, please? Apollo's also says he's on softs on the graphic, but he's on mediums.
He's on mediums on both of me, but yeah.
Okay, there we go. Fixed it by just flicking across a couple. Fixed.
Oh, if you had it on best, then that would have happened. Because it doesn't update if you leave it on best. You got to switch it to.
Smart.
So I usually keep it on. The current one until further on, and I'll stick it on best so you can see what the
that's what I did. I just completely forgot because I was looking at who had done what on their last soft stints in Q1. That's why. But Reziffi now on his lap. Lovely run through turns 1, 2, 3 and 4 up to 26.6 it says. Purple takes on, first man to set a lap I believe, it will be.
So actually a fairly even split between soft and mediums. You made it sound like the entire field was going to be on them, but...
That's what I'd assumed, because that's what... Obviously it's personal preference, but I would have gone straight for the pair of mediums myself. A few of them that are in the pit lane on softs, maybe waiting for the track to, develop and track evolution to take part before they do their medium runs, possibly. That's what I would have assumed.
Was that spin by DeRoy in Sector 1? Yes, it is, and he's lost his front wing as well.
No, not what you like to see. Not what you like to see from your teammate, from my position.
Got on the power too early. But still got plenty of time. Better to do it early on.
As I was saying, the track's still quite green at this stage. Not as bad as the start of Q1, but still will be quite green. So trying to get on the power quite early on those medium compounder tyres, never going to be the easiest job. As Reziffi up to the line does a 36.8.
I think he is on the softs then.
Possibly, I'd assume so, but mine's that's really weird. Codemasters. Explain yourselves. Who's next? Club PR?
Yes. Also on the soft tyres.
Yeah. He'll be in the 37s. 37.7.
So we're going to want to try and find more time there, but not too bad at the moment. Deluxe is the next
Possibly
man.
looking at trying to set a time where you get the delta, but no, you can improve on it on the pair of mediums. 37.5 from Deluxe. Apollo be next.
Yes.
Coming through sector 3 on his medium compound.
Yes, teammate, the man behind him on the track. So we'll see what the two Hasses can do.
Next would be Steiny, I believe.
Ooh, Apollo invalidated on the last corner on the inside.
So
Cut it slightly too much.
If he's got enough fuel, he'll probably go for a cooldown lap and go again. Here comes Carl over the line in the other Haas.
Not too bad given the
on
mediums.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Drawing to the pit lane there. Is Recife going around again? No, he is not. I think you were right with your call on it being Steiny next man.
Jeez. Steiny, a man who in the practice sessions has shown a lot of pace around here, had some good short qualifying times, and talking to some of the tier 1 drivers saying he does have some good race pace as well. So he'll be a man who wants to get into Q3 as he comes to... Ooh, he aborts his soft run. Oh, I'm not too surprised by that, to be fair. Maybe just trying to get that extra bit of feel for the track.
Club are getting some improvement, beating Deluxe's time. Although Deluxe very much beating Deluxe's time. Half a second green after the first 2 sectors. Keeps it at that much. 37 flat for him.
See, starting on... If these two boys do, let's say, to go through on their softs that are now 2 flying laps old, that's quite a lot of tyre wear being put through the tyres. Obviously a street circuit with a lot of 90... Oh, I've seen that spin. Who's that? KXI? It's his. No damage.
I think he's just going slowly on his outlap, to be honest.
Possibly cooling down his tyres.
Both the Hasses have been validated.
Well, Apollo's was this in next lap, I believe, through the final corner. Oh yeah, going back to what I was saying, drivers like Deluxe, Claire PR, who are on 2 lap old softs, by the time you've done your formation lap and race start, you get to lap 2 or 3, those softs aren't going to be in the best nick, starting to go off already by that point. And if the rain's coming in 15-20 minutes, do you really want to waste, what was it, 20 seconds? 25 seconds going through the pit lane? Losing all that time to everyone who started on the mediums, possibly?
Well, actually, Recife is going around again to try and improve his lap, and you know what, he's done it. Only by a small amount, but he has managed to improve.
See, I wonder if... Surely that can't be on a pair of mediums, that my game saying.
Club PR coming into the pit lane.
Yeah, KXI that. Jamie Robertson coming through sector 1 now as well. KXI will be next one to set flying that time. Coming through what used to be the Singapore sling. Ooh, bit deep I'd say into the hairpin. But what am I to judge? He is the championship leader.
Yeah, I think very consistent driver this season.
Yeah, definitely. One of those that has good pace and is consistent at all times.
Oh, I haven't said that. Goes over the white line.
The old commentator's curse coming out there, so Jamie Robertson will be next.
Is that... Yeah, Martin and outlap there.
Let's see what Jamie does through hit 104.3 sector 2 split. There's 2 tenths shy of what KXI's was, I believe. We'll see what Jamie does. He'll probably have enough fuel to cool the tyres off and go again. You need about 1.4 laps of fuel, I'd say, to get round.
Yeah, actually, I seem to remember he was a very good qualifier. Well, yeah, a 1:37.1 on the mediums. It was when him and Godly Noob were teammates, I think last season in the Alfa Romeos, that it was just the Alfa Romeos were good at qualifying. Certainly in Q1 and Q2, they didn't always pull it together in Q3, or the race itself, but they'd own the first 2 sessions almost every time.
Yeah. Deroy purple through Sector 2, by the way. Deluxe retires, probably in the pit lane, I'd assume.
Yeah, it looks a bit.
Yeah, Jamie, a man who's always had good qualifying pace, I think sometimes gets a bit unlucky in race scenarios, a few collisions, a few just silly little mistakes or penalties sometimes affecting him, but...
Free fall and validation right at the end. Hobbsy on the mediums, a 36.7 straight to the front.
But
although DeRoy beating that by 2.5 tenths himself.
See, Reservoir now, that could be a medium run. Looking at 36.8, Hobson a 36.7, DeRoy 36.5. They could all be medium runs looking at it. And Nelson on that.
Yeah, KXI next come across the line himself on the mediums. Keeps it valid around the last couple of corners, a 36.9 on the mediums.
9.
And all of a sudden Deluxe is not looking so safe. With nearly half the grid still to set lap.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to leave it late, which does leave yourself susceptible to... Oh, Steiny puts himself in the wall.
On an out lap.
I think he was getting out of the way of a Haas, and then suddenly... No damage from the looks of it, but...
Yeah, no, it looks like it's safe, but caught napping.
Yeah, definitely. The man who prides himself on trying to keep himself consistent, and he's not too far away in the championship, 58 points away. We all know with our point system in Cone, that's not a lot. Apollo now up to Sector 3 split. 104.3. Would see him, if he keeps it consistent, maybe around Jamie Robertson, I think.
Because, yeah, it was last race, Steiny was looking on for a potential podium, and he had... I'm not sure if it was caused by a collision or just kind of drivers pushing each other hard and pushing it a bit too hard himself, but looked to be on for some very strong points, closed the gap down to KXI, in the end span off into the wall, dropped down to I think about 10th position it was in the end, as Apollo goes 7th fastest.
Anyone else on that? Scott still on an invalid, I think that's possibly the same invalidation from before, but he's charged up his battery, probably cooled off his tyres nicely. Off he goes now on a lap. Doesn't get as close to the wall as some other drivers, possibly where they sort of risk it a bit more. Obviously that's only on a bit of an out lap, but I'm going to try to get as close as you dare to the walls round here to maximise your lap time.
Everyone's telling Steiny no pressure, we'll see how he does.
No pressure indeed as he's on a lap. Goes through Sector 1 now, 26.7. Compare that to Poleman, DeRoy as it stands, 26.7 is around the same as DeRoy, so possibly on for a similar quality time, obviously if he keeps it the same.
Yeah.
Jamie Robertson improves to second, by the way, through lap of mediums.
Got Tobes validated his lap. That KXI into the pit lane, and then Clopo up to start a lap, hop back and board with Steiny, who will be the next man to set a lap.
Yeah, that'll be KXI's qualifying 2 session over. Probably quite safe, you'd like to say for KXI, I'd like to think they're comfortably in there.
No, I think I agree with that.
Well, here we go, Steiny.
No pressure.
Wall does get close to the wall there.
Actually, he's giving himself time. No, he's only got time for one more lap. Just. And he's already aborted this one. But to be fair, 36.5 on the mediums.
Safe.
You can't scoff at that. Free fall on next man.
He's definitely out.
He needs to. Yeah, he needs to improve, and he had to lift. Well, he did lift. So he will not be going through to the next session. Say that already. Rotation then.
Ooh.
Up to 6th for him.
Apollo in the pit lane, that's his qualifying done. Who's next on that? Tobe, I believe.
No,
4-star.
4-star, but
He's starting a lap.
He's
got 95% battery.
Oh yeah.
Tobe is invalidated as I spoke about him. So it will be Clerpier next valid lap time.
Toes will just about make it to the line himself. Actually, I think all three of them in the last sector will.
Those soft enough. Such a pain around the place like Singapore. You push for 99% of the lap, and then you get to the final bit. Your tyres are hot. You've done your flying lap. You invalidate. You want to go again, but your tyres just don't have the grip because they're sitting at 105, possibly even that tyres like 107 degrees. No longer have that grip that is needed. Let's have a look here.
Here we go.
Yeah, you're right. It looks like some people on the soft now gambling on the Q3 strategy. Trying to go for it.
Is rotation trying to improve? Not sure if he is. Don't think he needs to.
Quieter. His battery isn't deploying down the straight, so no, he's not. 10 seconds.
Neither is Freefall. I think 4-star. First man is currently 10th down on his fastest. Needs to find at least 3/10 though. Well, more than 3/10.
I think he might be just looking to get a P11, start on the mediums.
So yeah, 4-star Marty Tobe still on the lap? I think he is.
4-star for the line now. All runs wide. How that's not an invalidation.
Ooh.
That's not an improvement.
No.
Marty's invalidated. He won't get a lap in. Tobe's on our lap now. Missing an M plate is Tobe, so that'll be him not improving.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, so yeah, Apollo is safe. And Deluxe, despite what was potentially a very bad decision, retiring that early, is actually safe.
Tobe's actually now getting stuck P14 because he actually set a lap where Marty didn't.
Yeah, so that's 4-star Freefall. Carl, Tobes and Marty are knocked out of qualifying.
Yeah. And now if you're Clerpier or Deluxe, you need to stick this on the front row now to make this work, I believe. I believe you must stick this on the front row to make this strategy work. Especially with the rain coming at 15 to 20 minutes, sort of in that range. Those softs won't make it that long. You've got to hope for an early safety car.
Yeah, 2 or 3 of them on the softs, depending on whose graphic you believe and which one's actually correct. Not that we can give you a truthful answer because we don't know ourselves.
Not a big gap really, from what, 1st to 6th?
Yeah, well, I think even 1st to 9th isn't that far, but actually no, 1st to 6th, yeah, 3/10.
Obviously Clerpier there on the softs, which, bit of an outlier compared to the other drivers really, but if you're a driver like a 4-star, only 1.1 off pole, or provisional pole obviously at this stage, and to not make it into Q3, sorry, you're probably not disappointed in yourself, but you're just probably a bit disappointed in general about not making it into the top 10 shootout.
Alright, on to the last one then. Given a track like Singapore, quite an important one. And they're not Monaco bad.
See, I think most drivers here will have 2 sets of softs left, so we might see a few drivers going on multiple runs as we see DeRoy's engineers looking to let him go.
Yeah, rotation club here, DeRoy and Steiny. Yeah, you can tell by the gear they're in, which I find the best way.
Yeah.
This is Jamie Robertson. Yeah, most of the grid already going out on track.
Indeed.
I think. Is it Jamie? No, Steiny wins it. First man.
And with 12 minutes in the session and round Singapore, 12 minutes is probably enough for your 2 runs, so people wanting to get out early, get their banker running. I think it's quite useful, especially having your delta there when you start a flying lap. So even if this first lap isn't the greatest, even if they invalidate it on purpose possibly, but just to have that delta there is always a good little mark to see where you're at.
Yeah, everyone but Deluxey left the pit lane. He does always seem to be a driver who leaves, like, is one of the last to set a lap. Likes to leave it till the end.
Yeah. Possibly trying to save a pair of softs as well for the race.
Maybe starting on soft tyres, so...
Yeah, maybe just gonna take the pain possibly of might start P10, hope for the safety car, which you can never put it beyond reach at Singapore, an early safety car.
Now Deluxey's now heading out on the track. Not that
Yeah,
left his garage, but...
These. Steiny's going to be the first man, as you said, to set a lap.
Well, assuming no invalidation.
Yeah, or first one to start a lap, should we say.
Yeah, Pease and Ferg trying to apply plenty of pressure to him. Here we go, his lap underway, and actually may have to contend with Deluxey coming out the pit lane ahead of him.
Yeah, Deluxey, not, I wouldn't say a veteran driver, but definitely a more experienced driver will probably know, probably have the full track map on and see that Steiny's not too far behind. Maybe might even, believe they're good friends, might even give him a tow if he's feeling generous. No, he's not, out of the way, it's the right hand side.
Maybe letting everyone else warm up the track for him.
Yeah. Steiny doing a 26.5 sector 1 compared to Club PR's 26.7.
Yeah, Steiny's one of those drivers who some races he'll come, he'll get the pole, he'll lead the entire race. Now given there's rain and likely safety cars, trickier this one. But... oh, Hobbsy just made a spin. Or was he just going slow? No, he's got no front left end plate. Did go for a spin somewhere. Yeah, 40.8 in the first sector.
Maybe a slight tap on the outside wall through, what turn? One turn, I believe it's turn 4?
1, 2, 3. Yeah, turn 4. The right 90
just
degree.
clipping the outside wall, trying to maximise how much there is of the track limits around here, and then just getting it slightly wrong, tap the wall.
So Steiny now, just the last corner to contend with. Across the line, provisional 36 flat. I think he'll be happy with that one.
Banker, Clerpion out. 37 flat, second off.
Roy will be the next man. 36.5, he will want to find more time in that.
Middle. Jamie Robertson next.
He's gone for an invalidation, rotation, the next man to set a lap.
Right over the curb. 35.8.
Ooh, fastest for him.
Reservoir now.
Ferrari, 36.3.
Hollow. Get a bit out of shape on the run up to the final corner. 37.2. Next would be KXI, championship leader.
36.3. Hobbsy into the pit lane. Of course, off losing his front wing.
Next, Deluxey.
Well, unless someone going around again for another lap back to back.
The only man who's beating around is Steiny, who's conserving battery. So it will be Deluxey next. Anything in the 103s, I think it's a good split here. 103.9, not too far off. Maybe see him going in around, I think, between Roy and Claire PR possibly. Might be right where he sits.
Yeah, I think he'll be in the the mid to low 36.3s.
Could be. As
It'd be hard to get between KXI and Recife being so close together.
36.8 in between DeRoy and Clerk, indeed.
DeRoy improving up to second though with a 35.9 for him. Clerpiar into the pit lane. And Jamie Robertson setting 36.
AlphaTauri second row.
And that was on 2-lap old softs as well for him.
It was indeed. I think an early back off on that first flying attempt maybe allow his tyre to cool. Regain his battery and then see if you're Jamie now, are you rushing back to the pit lane thinking if he does want to get 2 runs in again on his soft tyres on the second set, if he has a second set, which I think he does, because it's by the time you do what an out lap of around what a 150 maybe out lap, a 135 136 flying lap and then an in lap of around a 140, that's already taking up 4 or 5 minutes, and then possibly having to, like Jamie's done 2 runs there, so he's already used what 7 minutes of qualifying already, and he's not even back in the pit lane. Cuts it a bit fine. Deluxey possibly on a lap here as well.
No, I think no one actually currently on a lap from what I've seen. Hobbsy will be the next man. Yeah, because he's 1.4 red.
Yeah.
I think he's just on a fast in lap.
Very good in lap indeed. DeRoy into the pits now. Remember, 37 mph speed limit into the pit lane here. Unlike your conventional 50, other 37s include, I believe it's Silverstone's another 37 mph pit lane. So nice and slow.
Not something I've noticed in the past. I'm not much of a racer myself.
Just a pain. Yeah, Silverstone's just a pain because it's so long and so slow.
Apollo taking a break from driving team is a fun fact. 9 of the teams have made it through into Q3. Aston Martin haven't. Well, AlphaTauri's got 2 of them up there.
2 of them. And we'll go on board with one of those, I'd assume you're on board with him as well. Hobbsy, 26.6, Sector 1.
Only driver currently on a lap. Clerpiar and KXI starting their out laps now.
Yeah, so Hobbsy's got free track, he's probably fueled up for 2 runs, so go for a lap, cool his tyres down and go again, I'd assume.
Yeah, now Hobbsy currently 5th in the championship. Kind of got big gap in front of him and big gap behind him. Yeah,
the full-time debutant this season in Cone Racing League. Someone I know quite well. And he'll be looking for another good result, hoping to maybe just make a late sort of lunge for maybe, probably not the title at this stage, but possibly just to gain back on, DeRoy, Steiny. Yeah, just clawing back though, and the drivers like DeRoy and Steiny in front, maybe even Forster if he gets a really good run.
Yeah, only the top 6 now can actually get the title. Only 164 points available.
So yeah, Raw just line now. 35, possibly 36.2 D rating up to the line, just behind Jamie Robertson, which means it's still an AlphaTauri full second row.
I think Hobbs might be going round for another one.
He's got his red light on in the back of his McLaren. Maybe he's just going to cool the tyres off and then go for another lap afterwards, but it's got a flashing red fuel light on my screen. Yeah,
but that doesn't mean you can't push it somewhat.
Yeah, you need, as I said earlier, just over 1.4 laps of fuel. Obviously, no rich fuel mode this year.
He's 8/10 red first sector. So keep an eye on Clerpiar then.
He's got time. Nice start of the lap. Just over a 10th improvement. It feels like him and Deluxey may be battling, as well as Apollo might be battling for P8 here, but never judge them too early, never read a book by its cover. have a really, if you can have a really good Middlesex, and there's no way you can't improve and jump even more positions. Obviously, more people have to do their runs as well.
Is that a... No, it's a slow rotation as outlap.
Oh. Clerk up into his Middlesex split, 4/10th improvement. You can see him still go P8 as it stands. Let's see what KXI is doing. Improvement by just under 4/10ths, which would take him between Steiny and Jamie Robertson, I believe, as it stands.
So yeah, Clerpy are 4/10ths or 4.5/10ths. Where does that put him? Only gains in one position.
Hobbsy retiring in the pit lane, he knows his qualifying stun, he does not have enough time.
Clerpy are, yeah, only gaining one position.
Who was next? It was KXI, wasn't it, around the final corner? He improves to go... Ooh,
pole.
Provisional pole. Really pulled out the
By
bag in the
9
final
thousandths
sector.
ahead of rotation.
Yeah, he's really pulled out the bag in the final sector as KXI. Championship leader. Next across will be... an Alpha
Steiny, and then...
Yeah.
Jim Robertson, the man after him.
See what these two Alpha Tauris can do. Steiny up to the line. He goes for original pole by 5/10.
Oh my goodness. 35-3.
Jamie invalidated, which means his qualifying is over. Next across is Apollo.
I don't know, he didn't invalidate that. Up to 8th for him, 36-5. Roy with the next man up to 2nd for him. 35-4, then Deluxey, 36-1.
Rotations on the lap. Next across, then it'll be Claire PR, who I don't think will be on another flyer. Oh, he is, he's improving as well. But it will be rotations up to cross the line. He goes P3 in front of the championship leader. KXI, who's on a slow lap. Next across will be Claire PR. I think the last man to do a flying lap as well. Who's that? Who's crashed?
There's the Ferrari of Rizifi and then KXI just behind him. I think...
Rizifi's invalidated. So I think that will be our grid.
Yeah, Clerpy does improve. Beats Rizifi up to 8th position. Yeah, I don't think we've got any more improvements. So that's right. Steiny on pole. DeRoy 2nd, and rotation taking up 3rd. Championship with KXI. Deluxey, Jamie Robertson, Hobbsy, Clerpy, Rizifi, and Apollo.
Well, I'm going to go and get back in. I'm in a party with Freeform, Jamie Robertson, and Hobbsy tonight, so I will.
Alright, well, best of luck to you.
Hopefully catch you in an hour's time, hopefully, on the podium, but
yeah.
From P20, it's not the most likely thing, but...
Last to first challenge.
Indeed. But
yeah,
if not,
best of luck,
have a good rest of your evening. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for helping. Right, so there we go. Jay Wills had a qualifying ban, so he'll be starting P20. Meet a hand with the comms there. Steiny on pole. The race will be starting shortly, so we'll see what happens. Of course, we know there's going to be a wet bit in the middle. There's yet another person giving Steiny the no pressure. Yeah, you can see those top 3 very, very quick. Favouring the rest of them. 4 drivers in the 35s. Exactly a second separating the top 8 drivers. But it does look like it is going to be a good one. Quite strategy heavy with the rain. Of course. Going to be an element of luck involved, but it's how drivers handle the situation. It's times like this where KXI and 4-star prosper. 4-star not the fastest in raw pace, but certainly one of the best at making good use of a situation. So drivers now picking their strategies. Let's see how the rain turns out for them. Jay Wills didn't say how heavy it was, but if it's just dry then wet then dry, it'll likely only be onto the intermediates. Down to the drivers to decide that. Some of them, well, most of them actually will be in parties with other drivers, able to work together to work out which tyres are the best. But just 5 seconds until the formation lap is underway. Right, so Recife was on the mediums, so both the car was showing the wrong tyre and the graphic was wrong. But Clerpiar and Deluxey are on the softs. A few drivers opt to start on the hards. There's 4 start. Was it him who went for a spin or his teammate? I think it might have been rotation. Yep. Please tell me he's got a front wing. He does. Rotation going for a spin on his formation lamp. So I'd expect there to be at least 2 safety cars. Of course, all depends on how the drivers race, but they're certainly not going to be following those recommended strategies. They say to stick on just dry compounds. All depends on how wet it gets, how long the rain is said to be for. Yeah, 3 of our top 4 drivers starting this are in the title battle. The other one down in the 11th position, 4-star. He's got some ground to gain. I'd expect Jay Wills to be gaining a lot of ground as well, starting 20th. Usually, the qualifying band, you're not going to be where your pace suggests. So here we go, the 5 lights are up. And away they go. A good start by De Roy. Looks like he's already going to get Steiny up the inside. As is Deluxey on rotation, although side by side, Steiny pushed a little bit wide there. Still not fully conceding that position. Steiny now with the inside, but De Roy slightly ahead into the braking zone. Still neither driver ahead. De Roy with slightly more speed here. Both would appear saving that ARS 2 by 2 for the moment. Although Deluxey holding around the outside of rotation, also creating room for KXI to get past him. Deluxey up 2 positions already. Further down, Raw up 3. Yellow flag for M. Hobbsey's gone for a spin. Assume that was a collision caused with someone. Hard to see who. Focusing on the lead battle for the moment as Steiny managed to get himself back ahead of DeRoy. Keep that lead advantage. A few drivers though with quite big gains around the field. Car rotation down, mostly through battling. A few who've lost more, or Hobbsy lost more through to a crash. Now what's this going on here? These two keep swapping positions. Very hard to go through the tunnel though side by side. Carl remaining ahead. Ooh, Apollo ahead, catching the curb and taking out Razifi. He didn't quite react in time. I only just jumped on board to see that. Razifi won't be too happy with that. Apollo, the one making the mistake there. Really would have had quite tricky to avoid that. That is a shame for both drivers, especially the Ferrari. Not his mistake, yet still suffering from it. The two leaders actually pulling away from third further back down the order. Already a second gap. Rotation right on KXI's tail for fourth position. Actually a big gap between 6th and 7th, 4 seconds there already. It's Freeform himself is up 5 positions, Raw up 6 positions. 4-star up a couple as well. Toast's gone around for a spin. He's lost his front right end plate, you can see it just there behind the graphic. And that drops him down to 19th, letting his teammate through down to 20th. Going to need to go into the pit lane regardless. His rotation is into the wall. And he's lost a tyre, and that is him out of this race. Just such a promising qualifying from the reserve. Now knocked out of this race. Oh, someone's made a mistake into... That's Marty. I think he made a mistake somewhere into turn 1. He was... I think he was about 12th position beforehand. Lost quite a bit of time as Joe Wills was in an Aston Martin sandwich. So big gaps already starting to build. The top 4 really pulling away from the rest of the field. Now, of course, Steiny, DeRoy and KXI, they're going to want to fight for the points between themselves at the same time. If they can pull away from 4-star more than they want to. High risk of safety cars later. Given only just starting lap 4 now. They really are gaining quickly. Haas looking for a potential move, not able to go for one. Is that Jamie Robertson gone for a spin further down the order? Or is he just going slow? Hard to tell. He certainly needs to find some ground and he'll be hoping for a safety car. Warrior Huntsman past Jay Wills. The McLaren and Williams go side by side behind them. Hobbsy coming out on top. Jamie Robertson retiring from the race in the pit lane. He's not happy with how his race started. And this battle for 7th here behind 4-star, very, very close. Less than half a second between the drivers, all the way down to 11th. As the first corner cutting penalties of the race comes through, Hobbsy picking them up. Our current P5 in the championship. Naturally, he can't leave this race in anywhere other than P5. The gap too big both in front of and behind him. Steiny and DeRoy actually pulling away from Deluxe and KXI there, who were still pulling away from Club PR themselves. DeRoy going to have to be careful on the older soft tyres. Well, once the soft tyres get older. For the moment okay as Tobes sets the fastest lap. Oh, and KXI passed Deluxe there, did not see the overtake itself. Given the corner it was down, start of sector 3, must have been a pretty impressive overtake. Already built a bit of a gap between the two of them. Actually, up to over a second already. As Carl goes deep there. Not sure if that was avoiding a lunge from Martin or what. A bit of wheel banging. Warrior Huntsman, I think, decided safer to make it to the end of the race than battle too much now. Warrior Huntsman though, really looking for a move here. Not quite close enough to go for one. And those front two just keep pulling more time on the rest of the field. The gap between second and third getting bigger, the gap between fourth and fifth getting bigger. Marty looking for a lunge on them, Hobbsy. Not close enough to get anything done. Ooh, and Marty sending it up the inside there. Although, slightly less grip. Looks like McLaren got the inside line and able to pull slightly ahead. Aston Martin looked for the cutback, not quite able to get it. Tags the McLaren, who manages to catch it before he slides. Well, goes for a spin. What was that yellow flag for? Not seen anyone drop any positions down. Deluxe is into the pit lane. You can already see rain starting to fall. Well, it seems too early. If he's going on to the mediums now, I think that might be a mistake. If the rain gets heavier and heavier, he's just dropped down nearly the entire order, only to need to pit again in a few laps. Might see the Alfa Romeo teammates overtake here. Yeah, raw, massive overspeed on Club PR. Club PR's tyres now. Old softs, aging a bit. Ooh. Martin turning in there on Carly, who actually manages to catch the slide to his credit. And they're all inside each other now, ghosted. But ultimately the Haas driver losing out. The Aston Martin squeezing him, not really leaving him enough room. Conditions going to get slightly trickier to drive in with the rain. Nothing too heavy just yet. Drivers will have to be cautious. There's Steiny. Ooh, speeds into the pit lane for Steiny. Can have a drive through for later. Resifi getting 3 seconds for corner cutting. And yep, drivers now starting to go onto the inters. Jay Wills having a snap of oversteer there, catching it. The driver's definitely much slower now. Large numbers of them into the pit lane. KXI inheriting the lead for the moment. And there's a safety car. I think this will benefit KXI nicely. Now, who's the safety car for? It's for Deluxey. Pushing too hard under the now wet conditions. Crashed it into the tunnel. Ferrari actually nearly clipping him. Apollo going onto the full wet tyres. Now that is an interesting move, but is potentially the right move. If the rain continues to get heavy under the safety car, then he'll avoid having to pit more. Well, again under the safety car later on if the rain gets heavier. Could, however, come back to bite him. KXI doing alright for the moment. Actually a chance he'll come out of the pit lane in the lead. It's going to be close, certainly will be in the top 3. Actually, it's quite possible Deluxey deliberately put himself in the wall. Didn't see the collision itself. Given he'd pitted 2 laps ago and now the rain came down, as I mentioned. Might end up regretting that. So KXI now pitting. We'll see where Steiny ends up behind him. It depends how much they were both pushing their deltas. Jay Will said it cost 25 seconds earlier. That was almost exactly the gap between them, and now slightly less. So yeah, Steiny does hold the lead. DeRoy, I think, just getting that second. Okay, so I have to settle into 3rd. The top 3 all championship runners, 4-star, the other one down in 9th position. Yep, everyone on. Did Martin pit for hard tyres last lap? I think he may have. Whether that was a mistake or not, I'm unsure. I suspect we'll see him pit for inters this lap. So there we go, got the Aston Martin safety car. The Singapore race. Nice to see they go for a mix of the two. Not just the Aston Martin and just the Mercedes, but kind of always this one at this track, this one at the other one. Get to see both ones in this game. So yeah, Martin jumping straight onto the full wet tyres. Although that may be more of a out of fear for what's happened to him. Tobes actually, I think, also perhaps pitting for full wet, speeding in the pit lane. Only reason I noticed he was going in. No, a fresh set of inters. And I think more importantly, the new front wing. So that massively, the top four had built over the rest of the pack, now taken away from them. Deluxie actually now out of the race, but Shiny, Deroy and KXI are going to have to work to regain that ground. But from what's been said, it's not supposed to rain until the end of the race. It will be dry for the end. It's about drivers avoiding getting penalties now. Holding their positions and fighting for them later. Don't think Tobes will catch back up with the safety car. So Polo Aston gets, I think he went wide on the last corner there, getting 3 seconds of corner cutting penalties while under safety car. So Steiny at some point needs to serve those 5 seconds of speeding in the pit lane. Which actually might cost him a potential race win, given how he's currently driving. Raw's gone for a spin. Although he's kept his entire front wing in the process. So I don't know how he did that. Slotting back in into 10th, still down a few positions. So the safety car, suspect will come in this lap, we'll get the notification fairly soon, stating so. It does look like Martin and Tobes will not be able to catch up with it. No, maybe it will be going around for another one. Just one more lap under yellow. The other two drivers at the back then may have time to catch up. 3 drivers out of this race so far, 17 left. Shame you can't spectate the safety car in this game. Has Raw gone for another spin, or is he going into the pit lane? He is going into the pit lane. Oh, I think all the spin in the pit lane penalties we've seen quite heavily might be down to what Jay was mentioned earlier. The lower pit lane entry speed is 37 miles an hour as opposed to most tracks where it's 50. So there we go, Martin nearly caught up with the back of the pack now. That is an interesting manoeuvre to do. As I say, nearly caught up with the back of the pack. Does that, I'm not sure what caused him to do that. Don't know if the wet's just aren't activating properly. If he wasn't paying attention. Actually, Apollo himself on the wets looks like he's having a few issues as well. There we go, there's the safety car in this lap. Yeah, I think these three here will be able to catch up with the pack. Toes might be just shy of them. That might not be bad if it's a wet restart. Following the pack forward. Still 5 more corners to go though. So up to Steiny. When to put his foot down. DeRoy right on his tail. There we go, foot down. Hasn't got too much time built for himself, although DeRoy goes a bit deep. Steiny pulls away even more. And Freefall himself caught napping. And Tobes, I think, has spun before he even made it to the line. Apollo making a move on 4-star further down the order. J Wills and Marcy side by side. J Wills looking like he wants it back. Man who started in 20th, after having a qualifying ban. Bit of wheel banging, potentially pushes Marcy over the line, but Marcy holds his position. Steiny already with a 1 second gap down to DeRoy. Tobes pitting for wet tyres. Oh, I think mistake there by Warrior Huntsman. As if he's got past. Club PR slightly too far back and closed the gap down to him a bit. Four-star back past Apollo. And Raw also looking to get through. Nicely caught there by Apollo. But that does lose the place to Marty as well in his recovery. Judging by the positions of people, the wet tyres certainly still seem to be the slower ones. Some penalties starting to pick up there. Should say Marty got 3 seconds. Or was that the other? No, Martin, not Marty. Whoever chose the Aston Martins to have very similar names and to be in the Aston Martin was deliberately trying to trick me, and has succeeded. That is a yellow flag. That is Tobes at the back of the field again, going for a spin. Lost his front wing there. Gonna have to pit again. Currently 4 stops already. This is going to be number 5 when he goes in. The top 3 with a bit of a gap to the rest of the field. Yep, Tobes in for stop number 5. Still opting for the wet tyres. Now the rain is starting to get a bit heavier, so the wets might start improving slightly. As yeah, Recife and Clerpy are both into the pit lane, and I'd assume almost certainly for the full wets given the rain. As is Damask. I know for a fact I'm pronouncing that man's name wrong, so I apologise, but first time seeing him on track. Actually does seem to be on the slower end of pace, but not done too bad for himself. Oh, Marty going a bit deep there, sticking it in the wall. Both McLarens getting past, as does Jay Wills and quite possibly Warrior Huntsman. Yeah, no, that one's on Marty for that. Warrior Huntsman ran the outside with a bit of contact, but it was the Aston Martin who like went too deep. Rain really picking up now. Some McLarens have swapped to round they are. Is that a bit of pile up there? No, that is Martin going for a spin. Promise that wasn't deliberate. As Jay Wills past freefall. Lots and lots of overtakes going on. Carl past Marty. And there's a safety car out, and that safety car, to be fair, could have been caused by almost anything anywhere. Really not sure which driver brought that out. See Steiny staying out on the inters, as is KXI. And given they're the old wise heads who know this better than anyone else, I trust their word, or their strategy. Yeah, a few more drivers going for the full wets. It is right on that borderline. So again, Steiny KXI building up their gap, and again they're gonna lose and have to fight for it again. Recife retiring in the pit lane. His teammate Tobes, actually a lap down himself, really seems to be struggling in the weather. I think Tobes is one of those drivers who just always goes to the end. So safety car number 2, almost exactly halfway through the race now. $14.5 down, 16.5 laps to go. You can see a very framey puddle. Now, how Deroy does compare to Warrior Huntsman and 4-star will be very telling as to which tyre is better. I think that's certainly an area you need to watch. The Deroy will be gaining on Warrior Huntsman. We'll have to worry about 4-star overtaking him. If no one else pulls into the pit this lap, then I reckon we will see the safety car come in next time. Seven drivers on the inters, 9 on the wets. But of course, given it's expected to dry up later, if these guys on the intes can hold out till the rain starts, and if rain gets lighter, then they're going to be the ones who've saved themselves an extra pit stop. In fact, an extra 2 pit stops. If it gets to the point where the wets are just not good enough, they have to switch back to inters. Given quite possibly the worst of it now has been under the safety car. Still no idea what caused the safety car. We saw lots of drivers struggling on the exit of corners. Plenty of overtakes happening where one driver put their foot down too early. Had a moment, another one just got through him, taking the safer line. Other the guys at the front just... There we go. There's that safety car in the snap. The guys at the front just pulling ground on everyone else. I think certainly Steiny and KXI are going to pull away from the rest of the field. Hobbsy, not a slow driver. I think he must have had some podiums. I think he definitely has had podiums in the past. Can't remember how many he's had. Oh no, I think he's actually managed to avoid them somehow. That's impressive. Huh. Yeah. Hobbsy, 5th in the championship. Not a single podium underneath him. There's a chance that this race will change that. Jay Wills currently... Oh, sorry, safety car restart. Stop paying attention. She Hobbsy letting a bit of a gap form. Rory Huntsman already passed freefall. Possibly before the line, has to worry about DeRoy behind him on the wets. I'm dropping quite a few positions. I think the inters might be the better... Sorry, the wets might be the better tyre for the moment. Yeah, 4-star dropping down a position as well. Mr. Roy gets past Rory Huntsman. As does Apollo. Catches the curb there. That is... Tobe's gone around for a spin, the man a lap down. And these guys in the wets are cutting through the guys on the inters. DeRoy trying to get past his teammate. Gets the move done. Keep an eye on his charge. The wet's certainly the quicker tyre at the moment. It's 4-star down to 12. DeRoy considers going for the move there, not quite close enough. I think it won't be too long until he can go for another move though. It's a mistake by Club PR. Teammate able to get past or certainly pull some more ground on him. Tobe's now lapped by the entire field, but still going. And that's the important bit. DeRoy trying to go up the inside of Hobbsy, makes it work. Apollo also sticking his head in. That was a bit of a dodgy move. Hobbsy doing a good job to just do a pirouette on the spot. Keep it pointing forward. Well, get it back pointing forward. DeRoy now moving up to P2, hunting down Steiny, the leader. Got a little bit of ground, but judging by how fast the wet tyres are, it's not going to be enough. We're all going for a spin in the last sector. So Apollo now up to P3. No, never mind, we're all going into the pit lane. Guess it needs a new front wing. Jay Wills, he's gone for a crash. Turn 4 catching him out on the exit. until the road is clear. Steroy now inherited the lead, got past Steiny, and now just put as much time as he can before the weather gets back to interweather. So most of the inters really dropping down the field, but they've made the commitment now and they really need to stick with it, knowing it's going to get drier later. Yeah, Martin closing that gap down to KXI. Dory already pulled 5 seconds on Steiny after only passing him earlier this lap. You can see now the weather getting lighter. Now, actually, Rizifri now confirmed he was on the mediums in qualifying in Q2. It's starting to look like he's now back at the point where Inters and the wet tyres are about the same pace. Steiny starting to close the gap down to Apollo a bit now, quite a lot actually. And those few laps where wets were the better no longer seem to be the case. Yeah, that gap absolutely plummeting. Oh, Carl catching the inside wall there. Kept his front wing intact. Chancey took some side pod damage as Hobbsy asked to mask. Oh, and on the wet tyres, power down too early. And Steiny already caught up with Apollo again. Been down 3 seconds, close that gap right up. Guess he's going to go for a pass on the main straight. Or not going for it beforehand. If Apollo was considering going into the pit lane, he's going to have to slow down. No. DeRoy, however, is into the pit lane. I think you've either got to pit this lap or wait till the dry compounds are viable. Because otherwise you're just wasting time. That's what Apollo's doing. As KXI gets past him. The other inters are all going to catch up with him now. All the guys who are on the wet tyres coming into the pit lane. And all of a sudden, all those guys who stayed out on the inters now almost entirely at the front of the pack. Of the top 9, one of them's on wet still yet. So of the top 11, 9 of them are those who stayed out on the inters. One of them, DeRoy, was the one leading on that strategy. The other one, Apollo, yet to pit back onto inters. Warrior Huntsman. They're looking to get past on this straight. But Apollo not wanting to give up that easily. A Warrior Huntsman getting the cutback and through into P3. Really struggling with these tyres now. Actually, it seems KXI gaining on Steiny. Aston Martin that is Martin going for a spin again. Apollo's staying out still on the wet tyres. Guess he really is waiting to go into the drying compound. And you know what, it might actually be the right decision for him, not losing stupid amounts of time. Certainly still ahead of everyone else who was on the same strategy as him. Hobbsy is now through though, as had a slow Tobes. I think he was missing a front wing if I saw correctly. Yeah, he is missing a front wing. No real battles going on at the moment. Apollo though not doing too badly for himself. The field very spread out at the moment, the top two pretty close. Steiny can hold this, he gains 7 points on KXI, although that will only bring the gap down to 51 points. I think he'll almost certainly jump 4-star in the championship, which will put him up to P2. Although having said that, I've only just remembered Steiny still has his penalties. It's free for the next man to try and get past Apollo on the wet tyres. Looking for the cutback. He's going to go for the send. Hopefully it doesn't cause too many problems. Yep, makes it work nice and cleanly. 4-star next man to line him up. Actually forced to brake mid-corner to avoid hitting him. It's much slower the wet tyres are. Tobes is in and onto the medium tyres. Maybe Apollo should be considering the same. It all depends on how well he copes in wet weather. But at the moment, dropping down the order mighty fast. Tobes into the wall yet again, still moving forward. And these two actually battling for position. Four-star with about 15% more ERS. Roy going a bit deep as Marty gets 3 seconds of penalties. Going wide at the last corner. Roy seems to be on more pace of the two of them here. Might see a pass fairly soon. Actually not too far behind Freefall. It does look like they're catching slowly. As J Wills past Apollo. Is that raw retirement in the pit lane or into the wall? I think that's Raw retiring in the pit lane there. The two Hasses are fighting here. Both of them tapping the wall in one way or another. Apollo on the wets. Really, really struggling now. Just Roy up inside of 4-star. He's got the move done. Now focusing on trying to close the gap down to Freefall. Apollo, I think, must have taken some front wing damage, pitting onto the medium tyres. Ooh. Marty looking for moving Club PR as Apollo there, suffering on the medium tyres. Club PR and Marty both past him while still having their own battle. Marty just catches the rear of his car, they're not doing any damage. Side by side. Looks like he did get the move done in the end, as Jay Wills has gone for a spin further up the order. Rory caught up with freefall now. We might see move done there shortly. So Warrior Huntsman gets himself some penalties. Well, they got plenty. Actually, they've got plenty of room behind him, not too much. DeRoy now past freefall, up into 5th position. Manages to make it stick. His job now to gain as much time as he can on Hobbsy. Hobbsy himself having 3 seconds of penalties. There is still potentially though another round of pit stops onto dry tyres to come. Yellow flag, I'm not sure. I think it's for Tobes, yeah, Tobes yet again. You can see his front wing there. Really struggling on these mediums. Just the front left hand plate actually, not the whole thing. Yeah, just Carl really suffering in these conditions. And that is Marty, who's gone for a spin. Claire PR past him. Steiny at the moment just happily chilling up the front of the order. Although, importantly, he's gapped KXI 4.4, his current penalty. Sitting of, oh, actually 8 seconds now. Okay, never mind. I'm going to say just shy of 5, but no, managed to pick up 3 for cutting corners. I just put KXI the advantage then. He needs to avoid getting them himself. So gap. Yeah, KXI can keep it at about 4.5 seconds. That's good news for him. Really not much battling going on anymore, and it's just down to what drivers can do with their current positions. The weather drying up now, but the track is still not fully dry. DeRoy has been closing that gap down. So Hobbsy, I think we said he did 3 seconds of penalties. Yes, he did. Ah, there we go. The front 2 guys pitting. What? One for softs, the other one. assume all spitting for softs. Yep, and DRS now enabled. Yep, there we go, that's the sign. It's now time for dry tyres. Ooh. And KXI had a significantly quicker pit stop. Oh, no, 4-star. Went for a spin around the last corner. As a result, was considered to be blocking the pit lane entrance and gets disqualified from the race. And to go from 8th when you're in the championship battle to having that happen to you, really, really not what he needed. KXI knows now all he has to do is just stay on Steiny's back. The win will be his. Rather winning on the track. Actually, before the battle gets too intense, I'll quickly have a look at what warnings he has. 2 warnings so far, one of which from lap 1. Steiny won't currently have any minus ones he's got. Has anyone used all compounds? Yes, look at that. Martin has used one of each type of tyre that is available. Medium, hard, wet, into soft. Yeah, Tobes is on a 9-stop strategy. Which means he's pitting on average more than once every 3 laps. So, definitely suffering this race. 2 laps down to the next nearest person. But he is still pushing forward. He's not quit yet, and he's going to get points because of it. Steiny pulling away from KXI, already out of his slipstream. Actually got more ERS as well. Perhaps ought to be burning through it slightly quicker, maybe saving it just in case. There's the chance both drivers are just playing it safe. Tobes getting himself 3 seconds of penalties. How many is he sitting at? That was his first penalty so far this race. That yellow Apollo's gone for a spin on the main straight there. Don't see any front wing. Oh, it's not letting me see the front of his car yet. Please. There we go. Oh no, okay, he's got no front wing whatsoever. Hobbsy closing down that gap to Warrior Huntsman, both of which have 3 seconds of penalties. As Steiny sets the fastest lap. It was 4-star who needed fastest lap in second position. And KXI to not finish for him to get the championship lead. Seems Steiny's going to get second fastest lap, although KXI will be getting the win. There's Apollo who's DNF'd. Not sure if that was a collision with Clerpiard that led to that or what, but Apollo is out of this race as Kyle sets the fastest lap from 7th position. Although Jay Will's nabbing it right off him. A lot of drivers on fresh softs now really able to push. KXI just pulling on Steiny. Sorry, other way around. As Martin gets 3 seconds of penalties. There we go, another fastest lap. Wait, you can get fastest lap on laps, you get penalty for corner cutting. That feels abusable. The other Aston Martin setting a 38.5 for fastest lap. So I think we saw some qualifying laps that were slower than that at times. Carl gaining on a free fall. But with this 3 seconds of penalties, all Scott has to do is keep it clean and he'll hold that 6th position. Carl looking for the move on free fall. Side by side, they do touch wheels, but Carl manages to get it done. Holding it for the moment. Free fall. Slightly quicker exit. Don't think he's going to get him on this straight. Does have slightly more ERS to work with, but saving it for the moment while Carl currently burning it. RT heading fastest lap again. Oh, someone down the line. Oh, of course, that's why Steiny's pit stop was so much slower. He served his 5 seconds. So actually Steiny is on to get the win. I completely forgotten to check for that and have a look. Yeah, Steiny looking to get the win currently. What am I doing? My brain's not thinking. So Steiny just a lap and a half to go, and all he needs to do is not get any more penalties. He served his 5 seconds in the pit lane. I guess he blocked KXI leaving his pit box. That's just why he was able to stay ahead despite not quite having that 5 second gap. Now able to distance himself 4 seconds. There's Jay Wills has made a big mistake somewhere. On the main straight it looks like. And that's him out of this race. Although he will still get points. Wow, Tobes on lap 26. He will still get points as he finished 90% of the race left. I guess he'll be considered to finish 12th position. I don't think Tobes will be able to catch up with him before the end of the race. Tobes currently nearly 5 minutes behind Damask, who himself is not far from a minute and a half behind Club PR. Steiny just starting his last lap now. And all he's got to do is just hold it to the end. There we go, Tobes finally passed where Apollo had crashed. Yeah, no, Tobes is going to end up finishing 13th behind Jay Wills. Oh no, Daru's made a mistake and he's entirely lost his front wing. And that's cost him 2 positions and he's going to have to now limp around with no front wing. Got half a minute down to Marty behind him. I think freefall now, I'm just going to safely sit behind Carl, only go for an overtake if it's nice and easy and safe. Oh, Daru really needed those points as well for the championship wise. Where was he beforehand? He was 5th before that incident. So actually only 2 positions, I think. He may end up losing more, but anyway, to jump back to Steiny, who was able to have done it. He gained more than enough time on KXI to get the win. Well, the KXI himself picking up 3 seconds of penalties towards the end. Steiny getting the win. KXI P2. Warrior Huntsman will get that P3, finishing up the podium. Then Hobbsy in 4th, a long way back to Carl. Some big gaps here. Freefall is actually going to be getting that P5 position off Carl. Drew, the next man, he is going to get 7th, but it'll be a shame for him not getting 5th. Coming across the line. Not too many points difference between those 2 positions. They could be important in the championship battle. Martin, the next man, followed shortly by Marty. He'll get him on penalties. Actually, Tobes will be the next man to cross the line. And well done for him committing to the end, as that man was on a 10-stop strategy and a 31-lap race. But Clerpial, last man to cross the line in that 10th position to finish round 12. My goodness, what a roller coaster that was. There we go, Steiny getting the win. Much needed. That launches him up to P2 in the championship. KXI getting P2, exactly what he needs. Hold nearer the front. Only 7 points lost to Steiny himself, bringing that gap down to 51. If he can keep this up for the rest of the season, the championship's his. That does now put him over 300 points. So Marty getting the fastest lap in the end. Martin was the madman. It's his strategy I love. He used all 5 compounds, eats only once. But if you have a look at Tobes, it doesn't even show them all. Did a 10-stop strategy. One for him for making it to the end of the race, but my goodness. I'll try and get Steiny, KXI and Warrior Huntsman in for a post-race interview. And I might get Tobes in for a bit of a laugh as well. Why is it not advancing? Have I broken the game in such a way it's not continuing? Hello? Okay, well while F1's having a fit, I'm going to quickly invite the guys in for a post-race interview. Hopefully they'll join for the post-race interview shortly. Hello, hello. Congratulations on your race win.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was tricky.
Yeah, it took me far too long to realise you'd served your 5 seconds in the pit lane. So I was thinking you had a large gap to build, and then I checked and all of a sudden you were 4 seconds up the road with a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, it was so stupid for me getting another warning and increasing my 5 seconds, because I was on 2 warnings the entire race, and then I just lost the braking in one turn. I turned in too late, and then I got another warning, and then that gave me the 3 seconds time penalty. Luckily, in the pits, it was so extremely close between KXI and myself, who's coming out in front, and I just about made it. He was ghosting inside my car to like 3/4, but I was just like slightly with the wheels ahead, and this is why I stayed ahead. And I think that was very, very important. But yeah, KXI, holy crap, man! I'm sweating, man. Good pace in the end. So, in the end, I was like, okay, no way. I need to get away from you now, and the tires should go off. And I think you were struggling a bit on the tires then at the end, weren't you?
Yeah, I was just terrified to push on those soft tires they used as well, and I was like, you know, I have a chance to win this, but it's not the end of the world if he gets away.
And then, last lap, I think you got the 3 seconds. I was too focused, man.
I did.
I didn't see it come through either. I only saw it right at the end. I don't know when it happened, but
yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know. You tell.
I just I saw that I had like a 10-second gap to P3, so I was like, okay, just bring the car home. And then actually, by doing that, I made a mistake and went off. So, such a mental race, that the rain as well.
Yeah. Ooh, so mental. And then lucky me and unlucky Droy, he went to pit. I don't know if he had damage while he pitted, but he went onto wet, and we were talking about it in the party, and we were like, nah, this is the wrong strategy, because it's gonna go dry up again. You have to wait the heavy rain and try to survive on track without losing too much time, and that was extremely tricky. I've never struggled so much.
Yeah, I assume then if you're in a party with him, you know what happened to him on the last lap. I think he made a mistake exit of turn 3 into the wall. I didn't catch the incident itself, but he lost a couple of positions. I don't know if you know what happened there.
Who do you mean?
DeRoy, I think.
DeRoy, I don't know. It was so tricky, the condition, that I was just about able to look around and look on my time penalties and the difference. With managing the HUD and weather forecast, everything, like, it was a really tough race. Singapore is one of the toughest ones in real life as well, because of the position, how close it is to the equator. But like, that was tricky.
Yeah, all top 4 people at the end had the same strategy.
Yeah.
Martin used each compound exactly once. He went medium, hard, wet, into it soft. I think Tobes had the best strategy. He went for a 10 stop.
Where is he? I thought he was going to join.
I chucked him an invite.
He's the man of the race.
I wanted to hear from Huntsman as well. That was a great stop with him.
He said he was going to give it a miss. So.
I see.
But that was, man, KXI, why is it you that I have to battle with? Weren't you saying that hopefully you're going to be at the front next race? And you were, man. You were putting me under a lot of pressure. And GG, man, good pace.
Thanks, man. GG too.
But Stein, you were an absolute monster, because under every single stint of tyre, you were just pulling away from the rest of the field, even between the safety cars.
If you finish that close to me all the time during the next few races, the championship is looking good for you.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna full sweat every race.
I'll be there with you, don't worry.
51 points between the two of you, so.
Is that the gap now?
51 points between you two, and with just, 3 rounds left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at a lot.
4-star.
I'm jumping 4 stars up to P2, and then the gap is now 51 points. Yeah, it's, oh man.
It's
So
close,
that's-
man.
It's very, very close.
what's that? 17 per race. So that's a lot.
Yeah, it was a very, very tricky race. What is the next race actually?
Next race is Bahrain. You've got Bahrain, Russia, Brazil as the last three.
Bahrain, Russia, Brazil. Oh no. I have to train a
Bahrain's
lot
another
for
pain.
Bahrain.
Yeah, another pain with strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, plus ABS. I've never done without ABS a race in Bahrain. So that's gonna
Yeah.
be tricky.
I don't think I've had a race in Bahrain on this game yet either. So it's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah.
Hopefully no rain this time.
Yeah, I'll always start practicing for new in rain, so I'm gonna do the same in Bahrain as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
If Stani, if you finish P1 the last three races and KXI's P4 the last three races, you're tight on points. Assuming none of you get
P4.
fastest lap.
KXI.
So you've got a bit of a lead there to work with.
Oh my god.
So Stunny has to win the next three races, all of them.
Well, not entirely. I mean, there's 51 points between you, so that's
Yeah.
17 per race to gain,
Yeah.
which is a lot.
So there's gonna be some carnage at some point.
Oh no, that's gonna be tricky. Oh my god. Alright, the battle is on, man. I'm gonna go flat out as much as I can.
Yes, sir. That's what I expect from you.
I'm gonna hunt you down. But yeah, looking forward for next race.
Yeah, me too, man. Deroy be amongst it as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah. He's very, very quick. And always,
Very
like,
fast.
again, like, between the two of us, again, in qualifying to 0.074 seconds in between. It's always extremely close in between the two of us, plus Marty is also quite quick, but he just never gets through the race, I think.
Yeah, Marty's quick.
Yeah, he got
But hey.
fastest lap in the end. I think he did anyway. But he had a
Yeah.
5-stop, so he wasn't going to get a good strategy down.
Well,
Yeah,
it's good
I'll
to
let you
ten
guys.
stop.
I'll let you guys go celebrate unless you've anything else to say.
No,
Just
GG.
thanks for having us. It's been a little while for me.
Yeah, welcome back on the podium, man.
Thanks, man.
Good
It's
to
good
have
to
you
be
here.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair.
GG.
And now that's enough for you now, okay? Go back to
See you next week, Steiny.
see you next week.
Best luck for Bahrain, you two. Right, so that concludes round 12 of Tier 2. For those of you who are still watching, I'd recommend you go watch Tier 1, which I assume has a stream. I haven't actually seen it say it went live, unless I've not been paying enough attention. No, it has gone live. Okay, go watch Tier 1. They are on lap 7, but from me, that is goodbye until next week.